Hey guys, it's David from Cosplayer Goes To, and I'm here with voice actor Gary Schwartz, also known as the Heavy Weapons Guy and the Demo Man from the video game Team Fortress 2. So, Mr. Schwartz...
Hey, how are you doing?
Doing alright. So, Mr. Schwartz,
Good.
What originally got you interested in voice acting?
What originally got me interested in voice acting? I guess watching cartoons when I was a kid. I mean, I loved like Rocky and Bullwinkle and all of those cartoons growing up, and I would imitate Popeye, and just had a lot of fun sort of making sound effects and playing around. But I got into mime, which is interesting, as my first area of performance. I got bored with that after about 13 or 14 years when I moved to LA, and I decided I would add voice acting to my resume. I made an audition tape and got an agent, worked doing sound effects with my mime partner, Caleb Chung, who, by the way, is the inventor of the Furby. And he was a mime, and he would act as a robot, and I would be his voice. And I would also do various sound effects for him. You can look us up on YouTube, where there's some Schwartz and Chung videos.
I will.
Anyway, we were a comedy team for 17 years, and during that time, I got involved. I got a voice tape and started getting work doing, mostly commercials. Very hard to get into animation, but I got into something called ADR, which is additional dialogue replacement, which is a very interesting form of voiceover, where you work with a group of actors and you watch a movie or a television show. Whenever there's a crowd scene, you are the improvising actors that fill in all of the voices for all of the background characters. And that was my first and very steadiest voiceover job. Of course, I started doing voice acting in the 1980s, before the advent of video games. And when I moved to Seattle, the video game industry was pretty thriving up here, and I got a chance to audition for a lot of video games in the late 90s, and here I am.
That's really interesting. So I guess the next question was, how did you make the jump to professional voice acting? But I guess you kind of just climbed a ladder up the way. You didn't really make a huge jump anywhere.
No, it wasn't a huge jump. I was studying to be an actor, and I worked with a woman named Viola Spolin, and studying improvisation, and worked with a bunch of brilliant improvisers, and I started a company called the Spolin Players down in Los Angeles, many of whom were very well-known voice actors and voice talents. Pat Music was on the Smurfs. We had Dan Castellaneta in our company for many years, and he was, he's of course the voice of Homer Simpson, among many, many others. We had Edie McClurg in our group. You can hear her on everything from Cars and Little Mermaid. So there were a lot of voice actors in improvisation. For some reason, improvisation is a great skill to have if you're a voice actor.
Oh yeah, definitely. For when I took acting classes through high school, improv was one of the things that I liked getting into the most. And nowadays, when I go to conventions, I love doing improv panels because it's fun to do that, especially like in-character improv panels with different cosplays. Which segues into the next question. Cosplay, one of the huge pieces of cosplay is getting into your character and getting into their voice, whether that's imitating the character's original voice or kind of making your own voice based on what their character is, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have any tips on how to do voice acting while in character, kind of thing?
Well, each character comes with its own physicality. So, coming from a mime background, your body is very important. So you have to I can't not voice act without moving and gesturing and finding ways to make my body sort of amp up my voice. So I would just say, make sure you're not just trying to do it all with your throat.
Yeah, of course, you gotta put your other body parts into it. Whenever I cosplay engineer, I always have to be just swinging the wrench around or whatever. Now, just what y'all trying to do around here with my contraptions?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you definitely. It very much helps. It's a strange way. It's almost like puppeteering. Your body, you know, your hands and your body movement helps your voice for some reason.
Yeah.
No matter what character you're doing.
And it works. Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
What are some of your warm-up methods when you do voice acting?
I don't really have a lot of warm-up. I just kind of do the voices that are comfortable for me. I don't try to stretch my voice too far. It doesn't sound that way because I can do a variety of voices, but it just sort of comes naturally. I especially love doing dialects and accents. So I don't really warm up, but I just try not to stress my voice, which is hard to do sometimes when you're doing dying and exploding and all of that stuff. But you save that for the end of the session.
Yeah, there's definitely a couple of like Heavy's voice lines where I'm like, how did he not lose his voice for a month?
I might have, actually. Usually not for a month, but at least for a couple of days. At the end of a big session where, they save all of your dying and your dying screams for the end, and of varying lengths and varying excruciating types of pain. The end of that session, you're like, well, thank you very much. Call me next week.
Yeah, that's
But you do also have to keep your voice lubricated. You always have, room temperature water or tea with lemon, something like that to keep you hydrated.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, when I'd like to do a lot of impressions, and Heavy is one of the hardest ones for me because doing both Russian and this deep gravelly voice is very difficult. I've gotten to the point where I can do a couple lines where like, entire team is babies, but
very good.
But yeah, outside of just little short things, I can't do longer ones.
Yeah, well, usually for those kind of expressions, the Heavy doesn't really do a lot of monologuing. He's mostly short, or when he's talking very much in a normal voice. Like this.
Yeah, for sure.
But unless he's like saying, come on, let's kill them and all of that stuff. Or just laughing. But for some reason, when I deepen my voice, I don't bang my chords together too hard that it shreds them.
Okay, and now moving on to some more of the funner questions. Have you ever done any readings where you try to switch between Demo Man and Heavy in succession?
No, not really. No, you don't. We don't usually record games in that way. We every game is recorded. Just you have a huge script of lines per character, and so it's not doing. Sometimes they'll play a character in your ear so that you can respond to them, but but you record your own character. It's not like a radio show where you're doing several voices, or you're with other actors switching off roles. It doesn't work like that in video game recording.
Okay, it's more just one line after the other kind of thing.
Yeah, and usually you do 3 takes per line so that they have a choice of which inflection they like. And with editing these days versus the old days when they had to cut tape, they can really put you right where they want you. So it's really kind of a solo gig when you're recording voices for games.
Okay. Now, when it comes to the actual physical game, do you play it any? Do you have like the heavy username? Because Nathan, the voice of the Scout, has the Steam username Scout, which is the only one in existence. Do you own the Steam name Heavy?
No. As a matter of fact, I didn't even realize that the Heavy and Demo Man were popular characters until a couple of years into the game, because I don't play the games myself, and and for some reason, no one at the company sort of notified me that, oh, by the way, your voices are famous. But when I found out, it was a lot of fun to watch people's reaction.
Okay, and outside of the animations like Meet the Heavy and Expiration Date, have you watched any of like the fan games? Like, do you watch the Saxy Awards?
No, I don't. I did see a tournament of Dota 2 one time live. That it was at a concert hall here in Seattle, and I was blown away by the just the amount of people and what goes into Dota. And I mean, again, there I did 4 voices in Dota 2 and had no idea that these characters were so popular. I was walking in the downstairs area of the Benaroya Hall, which is the Carnegie Hall of Seattle, and there's a gentleman who was a British guy who was doing live broadcasting from the BBC, broadcasting the Dota 2 contest. And he was very, very well mannered, and he had a tie, and was very, very conservatively dressed, and he's telling me all about what he does, and then he asked, so what do you do here? I said, well, I'm a couple of voices on the game Dota 2. And he goes, oh, which ones? And I said, well, one of them is Lich. And he goes, you're Lich! Oh my God, I did a documentary on you! And I had no idea, So it was kind of wild. But no, because I don't play games, I really was not involved in that world. But since then, I've been to a few Comic-Cons and realized what a huge impact these games have on a lot of people.
Oh yeah, no, and that's one of the things that was one of the other questions is how often do you go to conventions? But yeah, no, the Team Fortress 2, especially while it isn't a huge like cosplay area, when there is one, like our group is one, like we will be constantly getting asked for pictures because everyone knows Team Fortress 2 at this point.
Yeah, it's an iconic game, and I'm thrilled to have been a part of it. I'm thrilled to be the Heavy and the Demo Man. Both fun characters to play.
And now here's the hard question: which do you like better, Demo or Heavy?
Oh, that's too hard. They're both fun in their own way. I love drinking scrumpy and being drunk and being loud and nasty, but I also like being macho, heavy weapons guy. It's so fun to because he's a fun character. I love to one of my jobs, or one of the things I like to do when I'm recording, is just see if I can make the engineer behind the glass laugh. And I think that comes across in how the characters have developed.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. What are some of your favorite lines for Demo and Heavy?
Oh, well, I love me Scrumpy. And I love saying, oh, they're going to have to glue you back together in hell. And I love saying, cry like baby. Ha ha, little man. Ha! So, mostly that, pretty much, Almost anything you say is the Heavy. It can be fun.
Yeah, for sure. Heavy's such a fun character. That's actually one of the things with TF2 servers that's kind of gotten popular. I don't remember the specific name, but in some servers you'll run across a Heavy that just won't fight you. He just likes going around doing the taunts and just saying random voice lines to people. And
yeah,
it's like, because he's such a fun character. He's become like an icon for the game almost.
Yeah. Well, and I remember when they first introduced me to the character, they said, you know, Heavy is going to be popular because he's a heavy duty character that can get you into the game, and you know, you can blow people away and stay in the game that way. I didn't understand what they were talking about, but I get it a little bit now.
Yeah, as time goes on, then you've gotten more intimate with the game and the character.
Yeah, I still don't play the game. I can't get him to pick up a wrench or anything, or move in a direction I want to go in. But I watch, you know, 12-year-old kids play him, and just he's all over the place. It's amazing to watch.
Were you aware that the Saxy Awards existed, which is a contest every year for who can make the best Team Fortress 2 animations? No, but I did at one point raise some money for a project of mine, and one of the rewards that I was giving to people who would invest in my Kickstarter was I would, you know, send me a script and I would record as your favorite character. I got a lot of requests for Heavy. One guy asked me if I would record the Heavy singing Bohemian Rhapsody. And when I sent the track to him, he animated a beautiful video of the Heavy singing Bohemian Rhapsody.
Mama, life had just begun, but now I've gone and thrown it all away. Mama, ooh, didn't mean to make you cry. And if I'm not back again this time tomorrow, carry on, as if nothing really matters.
I think I've actually seen that video.
Mama just killed a man.
Yeah, you know.
I think I've seen that video, actually. Okay.
Yeah.
And finally, let me see. Could you give a proper Scottish farewell?
A what?
A proper Scottish farewell.
Oh, sure.
Whoa, that's it! Rewind! Get out of here!
Well, thank you so much for your time, Mr. Schwartz, and hopefully you'll be able to see more of what people have made of you, because Heavy has gone everywhere.
That's great. I'm really flattered, and you know, I hope to run across some of your friends if I ever get invited to another Comic-Con.
Of course, and I've been trying to get you guys invited to one for a while, because they keep bringing the Overwatch voice actors, and I'm like, we need the OGs.
That's great. I do know that Overwatch is now the new big popular thing, but
so Heavy had his day, hey?
Very much. All right, thank you, Mr. Schwartz.